Hola, hola! Welcome back to our channel. I know it's been very long and I know you missed me, so I'm back here with a freshly cooked, very interesting YouTube video just for you. So recently, I did something. Yes, I filled up a Node.js developer survey for the year 2021. Well, if you don't know much about the survey, like I didn't until this year that I filled the survey myself, so I got to know more about it. So just to give you a quick overview, basically the primary objective of the survey is to identify potential areas where the Node.js people can basically improve their platform so that they can help developers like you and myself code better using their platform and make better use of their resources. So although the survey was supposed to be filled anonymously, but since you know how much I care for your entertainment, so I'm going to share my responses with you people. But before doing that, I just want to take a moment here to mention, what were you thinking? I was going to say how important it is to drink water. And now, since you already thought about it, I might as well just say it. Smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. Alright, so let's work this survey together. Alright, so we're here at the survey, and as you can see, this survey is powered by SurveyMonkey. Okay, let's begin it. So I hit OK. First question, what is your professional title? So I'm a front-end engineer, a back-end engineer, and I am also a budding project manager at my company. So I'm going to specify that in the others field. Okay, perfect. So I hit OK, and I move on to the next question. What company do you work for? Well, okay, I can put down the name for my company here. I don't think it's a big deal. Yeah, it's no biggie. Okay. So I work for Sanope Technologies. There you go. Alright, so the next one. Counting all locations where your employer operates, what is the total number of people who work there? So 25 to 99. Counting all locations where your employer operates, what is the approximate total number of technical employees who work there? It will be more like 10 to 24, I guess. Yeah, 10 to 24. So in what country do you reside? I reside in Canada currently. So we go Canada right there. What is your primary spoken written language? English. Although it's not English, technically, as you can tell by the name of the channel, I'm an immigrant. So it will be Hindi, but okay, what the hell, we're gonna choose English. Oh, we're at the next one already. What spoken written language do you learn Node.js? Yeah, English. Do you identify with an underrated represented community? No. How did you start using Node.js? So through JavaScript. How many years of professional for compensation development experience do you have? Well, it will be somewhere between 1 to 3 years. How many years of total development experience do you have? Well, 3 to 5 years. Yeah, somewhere around 3 to 5 years. How many years have you been using Node.js? Okay, so since I started coding, I started using C++ initially, then we switched to Java, but then we switched to JavaScript, and most recently, I think that is the only language that I've been using so far. It's pretty much the only language that I work with. So yeah, 3 to 4 years. Please share any informal coding education you have participated in. Check all that apply. So Udemy for sure. And tutoring, yes. And online courses with no instructor interaction. So like, for example, YouTube. We all use YouTube. I use YouTube for solving my day-to-day problems as well, coding-wise. And Node.js meetups. Yes. So if applicable, what open source repositories, working groups, projects in Node.js do you contribute to? This is not exclusive to projects under the Node.js GitHub organization. Well, it's sad. I know it's really sad, but the answer for this would be none of the above, because I haven't really contributed to any open source library or project so far, because I I was so busy practicing and learning this new framework, so I never really thought about contributing to any open source project. But I would very much like to do it now. What percentage of your professional development time do you spend using Node.js? 25 to 50%. Okay, so what percent of your total development time do you spend using Node.js? Well, I would say it will be somewhere equal to my professional development time that I spend. It will be like 25 to 50%, yes. No more than that. Yeah, because I have a lot of other things to do, you know. Okay, what is your primary area of development focus where you use Node.js? So my primary area would be full stack. Yeah, because I use Node.js both in like front end and back end. So full stack would be perfect. And your secondary areas of development. Oh wait, why am I going back? Why am I going back to question 17? I don't understand. Maybe I want to change my response. But what do I want to select if it's not full stack? Backend. Okay, it kind of makes sense because like I spend most of my time working on the back end and on RESTful APIs. Okay. So what are your secondary areas of development focus where you use Node.js? Well, for the secondary area, I would go for full stack now because I didn't choose it in the last question, like as my primary area of development. So, and front end, of course. So it should be full stack and front end. But wait, what am I doing? Why am I selecting backend here? No, it doesn't make sense. If I say that's my primary area, it shouldn't be in my secondary area as well. I don't know what I was thinking. That's so crazy. I should have selected full stack and front end. I don't know, that's a mistake. Well, pardon me, Node.js people, now that you can see my responses and you know this was me. Okay, moving on. Please select the types of development work you spend your time on when using Node.js. Select all that apply. I do web apps. Yes, that's what I do. I do web apps. I'm a maker. I'm a web developer. Yes, I build websites that people can use. So that makes me a maker. So that as well applies to me. We move on to the next one. Which of the following languages have you used in the past 12 months? All right, let's see. I have used JavaScript for sure and Java. And maybe a little bit of Python as well, but I'm not sure. Yeah, not in the last 12 months though. So yeah, it's going to be JavaScript and Java. And I hit OK and we move on to the next one. Please indicate whether you expect to increase, decrease, or maintain the same level of language usage in the next 12 months. Okay, so for all these languages, okay, so, and we have NA as an option as well, so that means not applicable. I'm just going to go ahead and select not applicable for all the languages that I haven't worked with so far. And yeah, for C++, I'm gonna say same for C. For JavaScript, I want to increase for sure. Node.js increase. Okay, for Java, the same. Yeah, Erlang PHP, never worked with them. Python, well, I think, yeah, I'm gonna increase my level in Python because it's really useful nowadays for data analysis and stuff. So yeah, I want to increase for sure. Okay, and for the rest of them, I'm gonna select not applicable. All right, so we go to the next question, which is what tools, technologies have you used in with Node.js in the past 12 months? Check all that apply. So Postgres, MySQL, MariaDB, MongoDB, Redis for sure. And JSON, yes. React, yes. Angular. And jQuery, well, yeah, a little bit in the past. Express, yes, it's very helpful. Express framework with Node.js. I use it a lot. I don't think anything else would be applicable here. Yeah, GitHub Actions for sure. But before that, we have Restify RabbitMQ, yes, I use RabbitMQ broker. And what else? I think GitHub Actions and HA Proxy and Nginx. Yes, these are the things that I use professionally a lot with Node.js. So yes, I think that will be it. All right. So number 23, where do you primarily deploy your Node.js code for production? Amazon Web Services. Yes, that is it. We don't use any other cloud provider. That is it. If applicable, where else do you deploy your Node.js code for the production? Well, that is it. Amazon Web Services. So I don't think this question applies for me, but I don't see a not applicable sign. So I'm just going to leave it blank. Okay, where do you primarily deploy your Node.js code for development? Well, for development, professionally, I have my code, it works on my on-premise infrastructure. And personally, I don't deploy it anywhere. I just use the local host, like my local server. That is it. So yes, the next question, if any, which transpiler do you use? Transpiler, I'm not sure what that means. I'm just gonna go and do a Google search for it. Transpiler meaning. Okay, so source to source compiler. Transpiler is a source to source compiler or a transcompiler is a program that translates the source code from a language to another at the same level of abstraction. Okay, all right. All right, so I would say I use Babel, yes. If any, what module bundler do you use? I know we use Webpack professionally. Okay, so number 28, when writing JavaScript, what language version do you target for Node.js code? If you target different language versions for different projects, please select the one you target most for your recent past 6 months. Work and use the other field to indicate the secondary version you target. Okay, so primarily, I think I've worked with ES5, ES6, or below for sure, with ES 2016 as well, and with the latest ES versions as well. Yeah, so I guess all of them. Yep. And I hit OK here. We move on to the next question. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is extremely difficult and 10 is extremely easy, please rate your experience learning Node.js. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so general Node.js programming. Node.js, I would say, is comparatively easy to learn. So yeah, I would give it a 10 right there. JavaScript. Well, JavaScript is easier as compared to the rest of the languages that I have learned personally, but I find it a little bit confusing sometimes. So like the this keyword and like the scope where like how the scope changes when you use an arrow function as compared to when you don't use an arrow function and just go with like a normal function keyword. So I would give it an 8 here. And the next one is ES20. Okay, so ES 2016 and beyond. Well, a 10 on 10 there. And asynchronous programming, I'm gonna give it a 9 because yeah, it took me a little while to deal with asynchronous code because it was very new. It was like a whole new concept that JavaScript introduced with programming languages. I never worked with asynchronous code like when I used to code in Java or Python. So I'm gonna give it a 9 here. And Node.js for front-end engineer. Oh yeah, it's not that straightforward, no. So I'm not sure, but I don't want to give it like a low number just because I didn't understand it that well. So I think I'm going to give it a 7 there, a safe 7. Managing Node.js in production. Sometimes there are some exceptions that you don't really know how to solve. So I'm going to give it a 9 here. So number 30. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is poor and 10 is excellent, please rate the availability of source resources to learn Node.js. General Node.js programming, a 10. JavaScript, a 10. ES 2016 and beyond, a 10. Asynchronous programming, a 10 for sure. Node.js for front-end engineering. Well, I don't think it's that popular. I don't think many people use Node.js for front-end programming now that we have so many front-end frameworks available. So I'm going to give it a 9. And for managing Node.js in production, a 9 as well, because I mentioned, I think, while doing the previous question that there are some exceptions that could be like tricky to handle. So I'm gonna give it a 9 there. And for Node.js and security, I think I'm a novice, won't comment much there, and I'm just gonna give it a 9. All right, number 31. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is poor and 10 is excellent, please rate the quality of resources to learn Node.js. Okay, so the previous one was on the availability of resources, and now this one is on the quality of the resources. All right, so I think for general Node.js, for JavaScript, and for ES 2006 and beyond, and for asynchronous programming as well, I'm going to give it a 10 because like it's a very evolved language now. It's a widely used language, and we have plenty of resources on the web about it, and they're like good quality resources. And speaking of good quality resources, you might want to check out our JavaScript playlist on our channel. We're going to put a link to it down in the description below. And also you might see a link flashing like on your screen right now if you're interested. Managing Node.js in production. Yeah, I don't think I'm like knowledgeable enough or like experienced enough to rate the quality of this resource. So I'm gonna put like an NA there, not applicable. And for Node.js and security as well, the same thing. When learning a new language framework runtime environment, what resources do you rely on the most? Stack Overflow, for sure, hands down, Stack Overflow. Okay, number 33. What resources would you like more of for Node.js? So I love to go to meetups. So definitely I'm going to put a big tick in the checkbox number 1. Meetup are like events where you can go and talk to different people. You get to meet different people in your field and you share a common interest. You talk about those interests. Sometimes there are like many speakers at the event. They come and they present you with a new concept that they're working with, maybe a new technology, maybe a research that they were working on. So the next one would be free online courses. Yes, I am a great supporter of free resources because I use a lot of free resources and I produce free resources by making videos on YouTube. Okay, so I think technical podcasts would be a really great option because like I listen to a lot of business podcasts and real estate investing podcasts, but like I don't really know about a good technical podcast though. If you know any of them, suggest them down in the comment section and I'll check it out. And also, business case study podcast would be a great option. Conference talk videos, Slack, and Discord. Yes. By the way, speaking of technical podcast, we've tried to come up with our new series. It's a new playlist that we're working on. It's related to technical podcasts and interviews. So we welcome new people on our channel who have worked in the field of science and technology to share their experiences with us and with you. So we just hope that we could learn something from them and know about their problems and how they solve them. So like in the future, if we face something similar, we already know the solution without wasting any time. So yes, they're really useful. You might want to check them out. All right, so without digressing much, we move on to the next question. What version of Node.js do you use in production, where current refers to the most recent Node.js release line that will be supported and open to non-trivial changes until the next major release? So we use the LTS version. Number 35. If you answered LTS, which version are you using? So currently we're using, I think, version 12. All right, so number 36. What version of Node.js do your libraries target or support? I think all of the libraries that we use support the LTS. If you answered LTS, which version are you using again? So it will be 12 again. Number 38, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is not important at all and 10 is extremely important, how important is it to you to have a long-term support version, LTS for Node.js? I am going to put a 10 there for sure. What primary OS distro do you use in development? Well, there can be two possibilities for this question. So personally, I use Mac OS for development, but professionally, I use Red Hat. So if I have to answer this question, I'm going to go with what I use professionally. All right, so what primary OS or distro do you use in production? So in production, in production as well, we use Enterprise Linux and Fedora CentOS. Okay, so number 41. What primary tool do you use to manage installed Node.js versions? Choose one. Okay, so we use the Node env. I'm not very sure about it though, but I've heard this term for sure in my professional environment. Okay, so I don't know this one, and I don't see an option for not sure. So I'm just gonna go and say I don't use one. Okay, now we move on to question number 42. What other tools do you use to manage installed Node.js versions? Skip to 44 if you answered I don't use one in question 41. All right, perfect. So we're going to skip the 42nd and the 43rd. And we're going to move on to the question number 44. So from where do you get your Node.js technical issues resolved? Stack Overflow, number one, Google search, YouTube as well, and Node.js repo. Based on your experience, what do you see as the top Node.js production problem? Well, for me, the top Node.js production problem would be performance issues. Sometimes the code doesn't work as fast as it should. It's something that we could have optimized that we did not. And we move on to the number 46. How many third-party modules you use in your application? Third-party modules, oh, a lot. So I would say 26 to 50, yeah. Number 47. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is very confused and 10 is perfectly clear, how would you rate your present understanding of Node.js LTS schedule support timeframes for various versions of Node.js? Okay, well, I would say this question is somewhat confusing. So I'm going to give it a read again. Well, I'm not sure about this one, so I'm just going to leave it blank. And I'm going to move on to the next one. So number 48, what can be done to make it more clear which version of Node.js to use? Well, I guess they specify if it's an LTS version or not. That is, I think, sufficient for me. So I'm just going to say specifying LTS is enough. Because like personally and professionally, we always go with the LTS version. Okay, so which Node.js package management CLI tool are you using? Well, NPM. Next, which package source are you using? Check all that apply. Okay, package source that we're using. Well, we use the npm JS repository for sure, and we use our private npm registry as well. And I think I might have downloaded 1 or 2 packages using GitHub repository as well. So I'm gonna put a check there too. All right, number 51. Where do you primarily search for packages? npm.js? No, actually, I primarily search on Google. Well, I think I primarily search everything on Google. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is not at all important and 10 is extremely important, how important to you is managing different packages for multiple environments, React versus React Native or CLI? Well, I think I'm going to give it an 8 there, but I think it is a partially uneducated response because, again, I've not worked with multiple environments. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is not at all important and 10 is extremely important, how important is the availability of multiple Node.js registries to you? This question is optional. If you don't have an opinion, please skip. If there's an option to skip, I'm really going to do that because I really don't have an opinion on that. So number 54. Thinking about your experience with Node.js overall, please rate Node.js on the following scale, 1 to 10, poor to excellent. Well, my experience has been exceptional with Node.js. It's yeah, so I'm gonna go with the 10 there. Please share how the OpenJS Foundation can improve your experience with Node.js. I think there's always room for improvement, and I would say if you want to improve your code base, proper documentation is the best thing that you could do. Okay, number 56, optional. What do you like most about developing with Node.js? Well, the best thing is that I can use my proficiency with JavaScript in the backend and the front end as well. So you don't have to learn like multiple languages. Node.js is a great language, and you can do both front end as well as back end using Node.js. So it really provides you with a lot of option. It is a very powerful language. You can do a lot of stuff with it. So I think that is the best thing that I like about it. Optional, what 3 words would you use to describe Node.js? So I think I'm going to skip this for now, and I'm going to come back to it once I'm done with the rest of the questions. Okay, question number 58. How has Node.js impacted your business? Select all that apply. Reduce development cost, help recruit developers, increase application performance, increase uptime. I don't think I'm suitable to answer this question because I don't really own a business. I work for a business. And I'm going to skip this one, move on to question number 59. Please tell us how you heard about this survey. Well, I've subscribed to a newsletter called Node Weekly, and this survey was mentioned in that newsletter. So that's how I got to know about it. Okay, I'm going to go back to the question number 57th now because I had something great in mind. So the 3 words that I would use to describe Node.js would be JavaScript on server. Witty, huh? If you would be willing to speak with someone from the OpenJS Foundation to provide additional detail or feedback, please provide your email address. No, I'm good. I think I'll pass. Please indicate whether you authorize the OpenJS Foundation to use their anonymous responses on our website and other promotional material. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. So next, are you interested in contributing to the open source Node.js project? If applicable, please share why you haven't contributed to the open source Node.js project prior. Well, I don't know. I mean, I never thought of it. I never thought of contributing because I was so busy learning the language itself. Well, I guess to put it in better words, I never really thought I was good enough to contribute. But now that I'm like pretty comfortable with the language and I use it like daily, professionally, and almost daily personally as well. So I think I would like love to contribute now. All right, number 64. Are you interested in mentoring others to learn Node.js? Your survey responses will remain anonymous. Well, I guess that's not really true for me anymore, eh? But yes, I would sure be interested in mentoring other people to learn Node.js because I think it's a really, really great language and we should promote it for sure. And I think like, yeah, many people should learn it. It's a great language to begin your coding career with. And finally, we're all done. So, well, it was a great experience doing the survey, at least for me, and I hope the same for you as well. And I don't know if you didn't get a chance to do the survey this year, I would urge you to do it next year for sure. They conduct the survey like every year, and as I told you before, it's really to help them improve their framework and provide us with more resources so that we could like code better and it's easier for us to find information. And I think overall, like, it's a really great initiative started by the Node.js people to ask for a feedback from the people who are actually using their product. I mean, like, it's the best thing that you can do to improve your product, at least in my opinion. Also, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching it. I hope you really enjoyed it, and I think you know the drill by now, and I know that you've already smashed the like button, but if not, please do it now. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, tell your friends and family and whoever is interested in coding, programming, technology, tell them about our channel, spread the word, help us, and keep yourself hydrated, drink a lot of water. And that's it. Thank you. See you next time.